Trae Young has officially made the leap into superstardom. The Knicks had no answer for the young phenom in round one, and critics who doubted Young's potential to shine in the NBA have suddenly gone quiet. Here's how Ice Trae the Gang, the newest NBA supervillain, is making waves.
Oh, goes to his bag of tricks! How about that? Trae goes between his legs, then a wraparound bounce.
Finds his spot. Young on the floater, puts it in. Trae Young with a miraculous shot.
Basketball runs in Young's family. Both his mother Candace and his father Rayford played college ball at Texas Tech, with his father eventually pursuing a professional career in Europe. That helped Trae develop a passion for hoops at a young age, picking up a ball when he was just 3 years old. Once Trae and his family settled in Norman, Oklahoma, father and son would make daily trips to Texas, so Trae could play against tougher competition in Dallas and in Houston. His father was also a season ticket holder for Oklahoma City Thunder games and would often take Trae hours before the game so he could see the warm-up routines for stars like Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, Steve Nash, and most importantly, Steph Curry, whom Trae mimicked his game after. Modeling his game after Curry and Nash, both undersized guards who possessed an unbelievable ability to shoot and pass the ball, Young averaged 42.6 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 4.1 assists per game while shooting 48.9% from the field in his senior year at Norman High School. He was part of the under-18 USA team that won gold in Chile, which included NBA players like Michael Porter Jr., Jared Allen, Markelle Fultz, and Mo Bamba. But even early in his basketball career, Young had his doubters. After his senior year, Young was ranked the second best point guard in the 2017 class, receiving offers from big basketball schools like Kentucky and Kansas. But instead, Young decided to stay home and enroll at the University of Oklahoma, becoming the first five-star recruit to commit to the program since Tiny Gatlin in 2010. The constant comparisons to Curry and Nash, coupled with rejecting the blue blood schools, put a target on Young's back. Young, who was then a hair over 6 feet tall and is now 6'2", still managed to dominate on his way to one of the best college seasons ever, averaging over 27 points and more than 8 assists, leading the entire nation in the statistical categories. Young declared for the NBA draft after just one season in college, but his NBA potential was met with skepticism.
I have been on the record, Max, as you well know, talking about how I'm not really sold on Trae Young. I think this kid Sexton out of Alabama could do some things.
Young was selected 5th overall by the Dallas Mavericks, only to be traded moments later to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for Euro MVP Luka Doncic. The two became forever linked. Doncic had the more successful rookie campaign, winning Rookie of the Year, but Trae finished second, averaging a very respectable 19.1 points and 8.1 assists. In year 2, Young and Doncic were both selected to be all-star starters for their respective conferences. Young and Doncic were both making history early into their careers, but it was Doncic who was already being looked at as a future MVP. Young did become the first second-year player to average 29 plus points and 9 plus assists since Oscar Robertson did it in 1961, but defensively, he was consistently one of the worst in the league. His lack of size, coupled with his lack of awareness, made for some bad defensive lapses that put in question whether the all-star point guard could ever be the guy on a championship-level team. The thing was, the Hawks sucked, especially on defense, and not all of it was Trae's fault. With that in mind, Atlanta's front office went to work, at Trae's request, trading for Clint Capella to strengthen their back line and adding more offensive firepower by signing Bogdan Bogdanovic and Danilo Gallinari in the offseason. With higher expectations coming into this season, the Hawks still struggled under head coach Lloyd Pierce, and Young's style of play, mainly his newfound skill of foul baiting, wasn't receiving any high praise, especially from one of the guys he grew up idolizing. Trae wasn't selected for the All-Star game this season, many believing that the foul hunting played a part in the coach's decision to not award him with the recognition. After a 14-20 start, Pierce was fired and replaced by interim head coach Nate McMillan. Under McMillan, Trae and the Hawks began to thrive, and Trae elevated his still developing game to another level. Over the first 2 years of his career, Trae seldom spent his time in the mid-range area, being ranked in the 52nd percentile in terms of shot frequency. But this season, he was in the 82nd percentile in terms of shot frequency from the mid-range, including in the 91st percentile on all short floaters. What's always made Trae a unique offensive player is his decision-making on the move, which opens up a lot for his teammates. For example, on this play, a pick and roll between Young and Capella provides multiple options for the Hawks. Young can either throw the lob to Capella for an easy dunk or opt for his much improved short floater.
Up and good, and the foul. Trae Young with a chance for a three-point play and to cut it to one.
The Hawks finished the season on a 27-11 run and finished with the 5th best record in the Eastern Conference, setting up a highly anticipated first-round series with the 4th seed New York Knicks. Inside the mecca of Madison Square Garden, Trae had the opportunity to prove all of his skeptics wrong, and he came prepared. You gotta remember, this is the guy that has screenshots of criticism from scouts and analysts saved onto his phone to remind him of how far he's come. In Game 1, against a backdrop of profane chants about Young's appearance, Young poured in 32 points and 10 assists and the game-winning dagger, silencing the crowd.
Wow, what an incredible play by Trae Young. Defense broke down, nobody there to help, and Trae delivers.
Throughout the series, the Knicks had no answer for Trae. Because of Trae's unbelievable shot making from almost anywhere on the court, the Knicks defense couldn't give him any space, which lets Young use his quickness to blow by his defenders. And if the Knicks sent help via a double team, Young would use his on-the-fly playmaking skills to create opportunities for one of his many offensive teammates. Even being spat on couldn't stop Young. Even the mayor of New York had to intervene. Young averaged 29.2 points, 9.8 assists, and 3 rebounds throughout the series, including scoring 36 points in Game 5 to eliminate the Knicks in front of the MSG crowd. Trae is the first player since Michael Jordan to have 3 straight 30-plus point games at Madison Square Garden. He was simply dominant. In these playoffs, he's averaging a career low in turnover percentage at 10.3%, a career high in assist percentage at 45.6%, and is tied for the highest usage rate in the playoffs with his counterpart Luka Doncic. And as far as foul baiting, Trae is actually getting to the line less in the playoffs, going from the 100th percentile on-floor fouls in the regular season to the 71st percentile, and going from the 89th percentile in shooting fouls to the 71st percentile in the playoffs. The biggest difference in Trae's game compared to the regular season is that he's making smarter decisions. Essentially, as the stakes get higher, Trae's game becomes more refined. And regardless of how far he's able to take this Hawks team for the remainder of the playoffs, there's no doubt that he's brought an air of excitement to Atlanta basketball in a way that hasn't been seen since ISO Joe Johnson or maybe even the human highlight reel Dominique Wilkins. And while some of you, even right now watching this video, might doubt or hate Trae Young, just know that that only helps add more fuel to his fire. It only makes the 22-year-old villain of the NBA even more hungry to prove you wrong.